Killer tune. What do you think? I know you dig it. We're going to get into that tune and the meaning behind it because I do believe I get what they're trying to say. They're not trying to say all these bands from LA are, jerks or anything. If you really listen to it, that's not what they're saying. I know that's not what they're saying. But we're going to get into it with Erik, find out everything about him, get into, a little bit of how he started, where he began, what kind of music he digs, where he's at. We're going to get into all that. And then we're going to dive into En Fuego, the new album by them. Bombay Black has just come out swinging with this again. I mean, if you are at all familiar with Bombay Black, they don't disappoint. They got like 7 or 8 albums out that are just all perfect. They're great. Hit you in the face, harmonies. That song tells it all. If you dig that song, that's what they're all about. So let's just get right to it and get Erik in here. What is happening?
What's up, y'all?
How are we doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. It's Thursday. It's not yet Friday, but I'll take it.
I'll take it. That's why we do these on Thursday. It gives a little bit of a punch. The weekend's coming. Yeah, let's talk about music. Let's, that's why I do it on Thursdays. Other people ask me, yeah, why don't you do it on Wednesdays? Why don't you do it on Monday? No,
never do it on Wednesday. Never do it on Wednesday. It's midweek.
It's midweek.
Mondays, fuck that. No.
Fuck that. Everybody's too tired. Friday, everybody's out seeing live music. Saturday, they're seeing live music. It's like, boom.
It is the best time.
It is the best time. And it's me. Come on.
There you go.
For, right?
There you go.
Come on. All right. Erik from Bombay Black. He is the lead singer and guitar player for this kick-ass band. You have like 7 albums. Is this your 7th? 8th.
7th. I think it's 7th studio.
7th studio, right?
Because Junk Food's more of a live record with some extra studio tracks.
Right. So it's 7th studio album, and it just, you guys don't lose any. I mean, you guys, every time you put one out, some bands fall off, some band, and then you guys don't lose it. I mean, you guys, every single album, you know what to expect. You give the fans what they're hoping for, what they want. And, this album is no different.
Thank you. Excuse me.
There we go. Now it's the rock show.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is not beer. I'm drinking this. The show is not sponsored by Monster. That's the reason why.
If they want to pay me, man, they can sponsor it all they want.
That'd be great.
So let's dive into you a little bit since, we got you here.
Oh, God.
Now, musically, what lit the fire? Were your parents musically inclined and you kind of got it from them? What lit the fire with
my
Erik?
parents were in theater.
Whoa.
My parents were both triple threats. They met in dinner theater, which probably explains why it's a pain in the ass for me to hold a desk job because I'm so used to doing theater pieces. I went out to LA and did film for a little while. But my dad was very into jazz. He was a guitar player. And,
nice.
and I was like, hey, I want to learn how to play guitar. I said, yeah. And I picked it up and I held it the way Jimmy Bell does. He went, no. You got to hold it like a righty. I'm like, what's the difference? He said, $600.
You got that right. You got to, yeah.
I learned it that way, but he was listening to a lot of jazz, a lot of fingerstyle blues, Steely Dan, Jocko, Weather Reports.
Nice.
I think of the guy, Jose Feliciano.
Nice.
Al Di Meola and guys like that. So I grew up listening to a lot of that. Plus James Taylor, I grew in my appreciation of that much later on. But for me, most of my record collection was Star Wars. It was movie soundtracks. So for most people, their classical music was Bach, Beethoven, Mendelssohn, Mussorgsky. For me, it was James Horner, Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams, John Barry, and all those guys. That was what I really got into.
It's like the deep cuts of classical. It's not your
modern
Motley Crue classical. It's your Heaven's Edge of classical. Right. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Right. But I think it was 84, 85 MTV had already come out. And of course, now we're watching all these little mini movies. And it was the video for in my dreams.
Bang.
Remember that one where that guitar
Dude.
is spinning across the sky?
Yep.
I went, I want that. I want to do that.
Boom.
You know, and
I want to
that would
be
make
that
it
guy
so
right
freaking cool.
there.
And I'd gotten a little 4-piece drum kit from my stepfather, so I was beating on that. And I'm playing in the jazz band in high school. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well,
So
let's
you
try
started as a drummer.
as a completely socially awkward, short-haired geek trying to meet these guys. But eventually, I got in a group playing bass because there were too many drummers and too many guitar players. I'm like, well, I can play bass. That to be the way, because that's always been the thing I do. What do we have too much of? I'm not going to play that.
Right.
And then, just started playing the usual covers, going, seeing the local bands play out and whatnot. And I don't know, eventually you start writing your own stuff. You tear through issues of Guitar World and Guitar for the Practicing Musician and just build up from there.
Hell yeah. So you started out as a drummer.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Did marching band for a number of years and whatnot.
And that, I wish I play, but I'm not that great, and I wish I would have taken marching band and done that for, just your practice,
It's good for the practice and the rudiments and also learning to sight read.
Right.
Which I can still read rhythms, notes, plus. But, I mean, I can get through a chart. I'll sit down with something and I'll write my own chart out. But
right, you can figure it out. It's nothing like guitar. I mean,
sure.
It's pretty simple.
That's what I like about drums. Drums, you have to worry about the key changes.
No,
just
you have to worry about
time.
Right, keep the time.
If somebody screws up, blame the bass player, which has also been me, which sucks.
You point at him. Yeah. So it was him. If it wasn't me, it was him. Right. And drums, I like drums because it's not always the same. If I feel to fill it this time, I feel with something different. You're not it's not. And guitar is kind of the same way where you can do what but
it's not as therapeutic though.
Right.
You've had a shitty day, come in here and just beat the shit out of these drums like they owe you money because you probably paid for them, so they do.
Right. Hell yeah. It's just, but music in general is just. So then you started Dawkins and Mick Brown, George Lynch. Dawkins was not a
George Lynch became the guy. Him and Neil Schon were always my major influence on that. And then of course Blue Murder came out, and John Sykes and Nuno Betancourt and Reb Beach and things like that.
You're naming guys that don't get enough credit. They don't get Nuno, Reb. They do not get enough credit, and they are so good. And to this day, they are still top of their game. And
they're still bringing it.
They are still bringing it. Even when Nuno can break his ankle on Monsters of Rock cruise playing basketball and still kick ass. I mean, sit down, just give me a chair, and I'm good.
Oh yeah, hey, work for Dave Grohl.
I know. The show must go on, right?
Absolutely.
Must go on. Now, tell me, okay, I do this every now and then with people, and I figure I'm going to do it with you. Your Mount Rushmore of musicians. Give me 4 that you just absolutely, I love doing this to people.
Oh, you're cruel.
Yeah. I am.
Bastard.
I do. This is why I said it's unscripted, just bullet points here and there. But I'm not going to give it to you right off the bat. Just a couple. If you don't want to do 4, just who's influenced you. It gives us a sense of.
I will have better luck trying to bite a single chip out of a Chips Ahoy cookie. Seriously, that is. I mean, damn.
It's a terrible question. Some people love it. Some people are like, "Dude, you suck."
You can't. It changes. It absolutely changes. I mean,
it does.
I've got like 6 guitar players that I've really been influenced by, but there's still plenty of other players that I've discovered over the years. God,
and it all depends on your mood. What's that?
You remember an album called T-Ride? Came out in 1990.
It sounds familiar. I just can't see it.
You need to look that up later if you're not familiar with it. It was Eric Valentine, who's now a big producer.
Right.
He was on drums. He also recorded the whole thing. Jeff Tyson, who was a student of Joe Satriani, but
Love.
also half the guitar parts are done by this guy named I think it's Bob Wimet. Wimet. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce
Mm-hmm.
it. But that record, I mean, it's a short record, but it's exhausting. If you're a guitar player that really sits and studies other players, it is just friggin' exhausting.
Anybody
The amount of
taught by
shit
Joe
that's going on there.
Satriani is just,
Hmm.
I mean, Jesus, that guy's something else.
Yeah. So, I mean, geez. Like I said, I can't even answer that.
That's cool. I mean, I throw it out there. Some people are like I said, they're like, dude, you suck. Go to hell. I'm not doing this. Other people are like, that's a great question. They
And it
rattle on.
is. It really is, but it's
But
just
it changes
hard to
daily.
choose. Yeah.
I mean, even my favorite band changes every, I'm a huge Iron Maiden guy,
Hmm.
but you ask me on a Wednesday, I'm having a shitty day and I'm listening to other shit. Iron Maiden might not even be in my top five, but
Right.
then on any given other day, usually they are.
Right.
But and Bombay Black is number one all day long every day.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't. I know who I'm talking to here. I know who I'm talking to.
Hmm.
All right, let's dive in. The new album, En Fuego. For anybody out there that does not know what En Fuego means, it means on fire. It means you call anyone or anything En Fuego that is awesome.
Hmm.
I mean, that is the definition. I looked it up. I knew En Fuego meant fire or something like that, but I looked it
Right.
up. I was like, you know what? That's fucking perfect.
Hmm.
Perfect. This album is on fire. There's not a skippable track on it. Um, the first single that got released, not just another band from LA.
Uh-huh.
Let's get into that because it could be taken two ways. It could be you're dissing the guys from the LA scene, or it could be like what we were back in the day is, there got to be so fucking many bands
Hmm.
that were doing the same fucking thing. It's like, just another band. And
Yeah.
that's, you know,
Yeah.
so
Well, I was really in a shitty mood when I wrote it. I'll
wow.
be honest. Now, as far as the inspiration for the title, we're like, so many other towns. You have that one great venue from back in the day. And we had one of those. It was called Juanita's Cantina Ballroom. And they brought in local acts, they brought in regional acts, they brought in national acts. I mean, like they had Chick Corea's electric band, they had Billy Cobham, they had Typo Negative, we got Damage Plan, we had Disturbed, um, just a variety of different groups that would travel through, because we're a stop for gas money when you're on your way to the next big city. We're a route through date. And
Right.
when I was a kid, they were always very good. Every week they would have their schedule up. Here's what's playing this week, and so forth and so on. And if you weren't familiar with the group and they weren't from here, they'd say direct from Seattle, direct from Memphis, direct from Los Angeles or Hollywood or wherever it was at. And we're like, I've never heard of them. Well, they're from LA, so it's got to be good. That's the hallmark of
Right.
quality. And well, you get older and the years roll by. Oh, who's playing? Oh, it's just another band from LA. It's not meant as a slight. It's just it's another group from LA.
It's another group. And the same thing happened with Seattle when grunge took over.
Exactly.
Just another, and even if they weren't a Seattle, I think Stephen Percy just come out in an interview and said, there was so many bands wanting to be Sunset Strip, and they were labeling them, and he was saying the bands that come from Philadelphia and Harrisburg,
Mm-hmm.
and we know who he's meaning, but he's like everybody was from the Sunset Strip, just like when grunge hit, everybody automatically became a band from Seattle, even
Sure.
though they weren't.
Sure. Absolutely.
And it's not
Absolutely.
a diss; it's just the way it was.
It's just how it was back in the day. I mean, when I was a kid, you go pick up the Hit Parader and Metal Edge, you flip on the
Circus.
heavy metal half hour. That's how far back I go.
Oh yeah.
Alan Hunter.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh, here's this new band. I remember God, 89. I think it was 89. I'm at my then girlfriend's house and we're making out. And then we hear MTV World Premiere Video.
And you're done.
And we're like, okay, no, well, let me get her. We gotta stop because we're looking now raw. We gotta stop. I gotta see what this is. And it was Madeline from Winger.
Oh, no shit.
And I was like, ooh, what's this? I mean, just it was, the colors, sure, but it was different. You had the bass player singing. I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to the record store when this is over. See ya.
Right. I'm
Thankfully, she
done.
understood, but that was how it was back then. It was an event. It was exciting. Now it's like, and their videos up on YouTube tomorrow or something.
Right.
But
it's still, people do the whole pre-save or pre-check-in or whatever. Like
mhm.
certain bands will be like, it's going to be live on, it's first
Yeah,
run
you
or
do
whatever.
the
And you get the notification, you go right to it, and you're like, I got
mhm.
to see this. And you got to be, okay, we got to hit Facebook with it to share it out there and get it out.
Yeah,
And so it is kind of the same, but it's never the same where it had the world spinning,
yeah.
the
It's
world
a very
premiere.
it's very it's not the same as going out with a stack of flyers and stapling them on telephone poles and taping
Right,
them to mailboxes before the cops show up.
right.
It's
You
all
know,
it's all virtual now. It's kind of taking the fun out of it, I think.
and me, I do shows air, I book shows and have bands play. I do Toys for Tots and stuff like that. And Facebook, this only goes so far. I
Right.
mean, people that rely on Facebook and they're like, I can't understand why I'm not filling a venue or nobody's showing up. Facebook ain't it. You've got to get around town and you've got to hit the record store. You've got to hit,
Hmm.
we got a guy that lives here around me and I know him very well. His name is Sean Kerr. And that guy knows how to do it. He has his own freaking street team where he'll post on Facebook, these are all the businesses that let me put a flyer up.
Right.
And you gotta.
Yeah.
The days of flyer, people think they're gone. They're not.
Hmm.
You hit them. People at the grocery store, at the, wherever they'll let you put it on a door, you've got to do it.
Anywhere there's a billboard,
Right.
get them up there. Anywhere they'll let you stick it up on a window, get there. I mean, that's and of course, getting people to talk about it, trying to drum up, because word of mouth is still the number one way to advertise.
Number one way. And you have to do it. You
Yeah.
want your album to do well. You want your shows to do well. If you got a good promoter in the area and Bombay Black is coming, he's flyering the place.
Hopefully,
If there's
they
another
are.
right, if
A
there's a
lot of a
big
lot of clubs
concert
these
going on,
days, they don't do that. They're just like, oh, you guys will bring your crowd. That's all I got to worry about, because they're in the food and drink business. They're not in the promotion business.
right,
Then they go, well, where's your crowd? I'm like, we're from out of state. Where were your people? Where were
right,
your regulars? We did our due
exactly.
diligence as far as we could from where we were at. You didn't do yours.
Right. You're from Arkansas, right?
Mhm.
And what are you supposed to do? You're playing a show in Vermont. You're supposed to bring a bus of your people to every single show, so that they go 50 stop tour. All these same people are going to the same. No, that doesn't work
Or
that
do we
way.
need to fly up there 3 weeks beforehand and start trying to find, hey, can we put this up? Yeah, I know you don't know us and we're kind of scary
Right.
looking, but you know, it, back when clubs really, and a lot of clubs still do. I'm not saying they don't, but there are those that they don't care. They don't
No,
care. They're
they don't.
thinking, okay, we're going to get this band in here, and if they suck, we won't bring them back.
Right. And they don't mind because they're not putting up any money. I'm putting up the money.
Exactly.
They're letting me use the
Mhm.
place.
Or the
So,
band gets the door.
right. You know,
So
50-50 door, whatever, whatnot. Yeah. I've had it where, 50-50 door, band gets the door.
mhm.
So it's like, whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, but as a, I hate the term promoter or whatever, I can't do that. I can't say, hey, I'll bring you in, but you get the door. They're going to go, hey, man, you got to be kidding me. How do we know what's going to, and I'm not going to ever do that to a band. I'm
Yeah.
going to put up the money and be like, okay, whatever happens, happens. If I lose, I lose. If I don't, I don't.
Hmm.
And that's the way it is.
Yeah.
But now, have you guys toured, any time outside the U.S.?
We went to Spain,
Really?
played a festival out there, played in England, in Nottingham and Birmingham. I think I'm saying it
Nice.
right.
What's
Um,
now? What's it like to be a band from Arkansas and tour the UK and Spain?
uh, Culture shock,
Yeah.
really. Not so much in England. I mean, with the first trip to England, we actually rented a car. And we're like, great, we're driving on the wrong side of the road on the wrong side of the car. Interesting. Also, they have very interesting ways of handling their street organization. We ended up going the wrong way down a street because we turned and then like 50 feet. Oh, there's the no entry sign. Thanks for the hot tip.
Right.
Jesus.
You're just supposed to know.
Yeah, I mean, we dealt with people like waving, going, yeah, they're from out of town. We know.
We get this all the time.
Stupid Yanks looking long bastards. I bet they think we all talk like Joan Cleese too.
Right. And we do.
But on the plus side, English breakfasts are awesome, especially with a Guinness in the morning, although I'm still not entirely sure what brown sauce is. Exactly.
Brown sauce.
They little packets. They gave us a brown sauce and salad cream, and I'm like,
they only give it to the tourists, the out of towners. Yeah.
Spain was the first time we'd ever gone out of the country. So of course we don't speak the language very well.
No.
We have translators, and a lot of them do speak English. But staying in a hostel, we are not skinny dudes.
No.
And it was an experience because everybody walks during the day and then they take siesta in the middle of the day. So if you don't time it just right, you can't go pick up a bottle of water from the open core because everybody shut down.
Right.
So that was weird. And I was a little jealous. I'm like, why don't we have that back in the States, man? Why don't we all just, roll out a pallet and take naps at work for an hour?
Right. Italy does it. I mean, they do the break in the afternoon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, yeah, we should.
I thought that was a very cool. Once I got used to the idea and figured out, okay, they're going to do this, so we need to make sure we get whatever we need before then or wait till after.
Right.
But no, it was crowds there are awesome. Crowds in both locations were awesome.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Europe seems to be very, very.
They're very open to it.
Right.
Right. I think that has a big thing, and at least it just seems that way to me versus here where it's very insular and very much a niche thing. I have a friend of mine out in Vegas, and they got Counts vamped out there. Yep. I'm always seeing, this group's playing here and whatnot. And I'm like, man, what's the rock scene like? He's like, dude, that's the only club that does hard rock and metal. That's it. I'm like,
that's it.
Yep. They sure play it up nine ways from Sunday, but that was really disappointing to see that because I mean, I went to LA for a while, and we go back every so often just to see what's out there and visit. California is my home. That's my home state. Born in Montebello, lived in Burbank for a bit, Los Angeles, San Diego, Lemon Grove area, and I remember when I moved out there in '99, I was going to go make movies, and you remember a place called the Black Lodge? It was Frank Bello and somebody else. Yep. And it was just one of those, they set up shop in, I think this was the Lingerie Club at the time. And they had kind of a Metal Blade showcase. And one of the groups was called Dream Child. And they get up and they played their first song, played the piss out of it. Just awesome. Sounded great. Cage from San Diego had played an opening set, and I was like, yeah, man, this is great. And I suddenly realized I'm the only one clapping. I'm the only one enjoying it. And I start looking around. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with these? This was
right.
Weird. This, and then the person I went there said, look, they're jaded around here. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Oh, there's a bunch of pretty boys off in the smoking alley touseling their hair, so they don't
right. Polo shirts.
Like everybody else. Nobody's supposed to be impressed. We've seen this all before.
No.
I'm like, come on.
If you get on stage, I'm impressed. And we're gonna
yeah, just friggin' enjoy it. Because not everybody's doing that now.
Now
it's sad, but it's the way it is.
Still on the subject of your tours outside the US.
Mm-hmm.
What is, I hope I say this right, clava marketing?
You've been talking to Kibble, haven't
you? I plead the fifth. I don't know nothing.
Oh, bullshit. I know
I'm
better.
never going to reveal my sources where I get information.
we had played this. We were in Spain, and we had played. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the group. But one of the groups, they had taken like a 3-hour sound check.
Jesus.
I was like, you know, my band, we are on in 10, ready to play, and we are off stage in 5. We're getting, we
Whoa.
have our inner rig, we are ready to go. And these
Professional,
guys
know
up
how to do
there,
it.
well, I need more 1K here. I can you drop this? And I'm just like, geez, you fucking babies, just
Right?
crank it and yank it. Come on, what's the deal? So John talks the house sound guy into playing our record, which at the time was the Mercy record, the first one.
First one.
And the guitar player of that group, who really thought highly of himself, he was listening and he looks at John and goes, "Is that your band?" "Yeah." Clever marketing. And that just kind of became the joke ever since. The guy,
Clever marketing.
I'll go ahead and say it, the guy was a bit of a dick.
Right?
So it was kind of nice to, yeah, well, there you go. You got your 3-hour sound check, and we're playing on the PA. There you go.
Right. Clever marketing.
Clever marketing.
I love it. You know what? If you're going to take 3 hours on a fucking sound check, you don't need to be there because you're not professional. Sorry.
I don't know what to tell you. I just remember sitting back there, just astounded. And they weren't even the headliner. Headliner took like 30 minutes.
God damn.
To dial everything in. And of course, you're going to do that for the headliner. They've got us down great.
You want everything dialed in so that during the night you do all this other stuff with the other ones. Then you just go to the presets, bam, hit it, you're gone.
I mean, the headliner they were on it. They were on it. They were doing their thing. So I don't know. Some bands just need more help, I guess.
I had that.
I better stop before I say something really tacky.
Well, I had a tribute band do one of my shows, and these guys are like, "Well, we have to have our own stack here." Well, no, it's got to be this one because it doesn't sound right out of another one, and it's like you guys are not getting sound check. You're gonna get up there, you're plug, and you're gonna go. You're the opening band. You're a tribute band, not really even that good of a tribute band. They thought they were better than the lead singer knew. He's like, we ain't that good. He just, he's like, they were Iron Maiden tribute band. He's like, I am no fucking Bruce Dickinson at all. I don't even claim to be. I just love his songs. I just sing them. And if you dig it, you dig it. But there was a couple other guys in the band that thought they were just the Cats fucking meow. And it's like, no, you're not. And I was getting very irritated where they were coming off the stage and they weren't even doing the show if it took 5 more minutes.
Right. And some people, and God, I hope I am surrounded by enough people that if I ever start showing my ass, they'll take me behind a building and give me a slap across the chops.
Right.
It's just, there's no, you get on stage, you can throw your ego around all you want.
Be a beast.
Once you're done, shut it down.
Shut it down. And
smile, nod, have a beer. It's all good.
Right. And talk to people and be a human being. Be a beast on stage. You be that cocky, arrogant son of a bitch on that stage because everybody that's what we want. That's what we pay to see. We pay to see somebody larger than life. You're superhuman. You are a god. But when you get off the stage, you're no better than me.
Right.
Unless you're Yngwie Malmsteen, then you're better than fucking everybody. We're not going to go there.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, okay, let's talk in Fuego. We all know, okay, bands release albums, and you released for 2005, 2006, 8, 10, 12, 14, took a break, gone. And most people go, what happened? Where'd you go? What did the band break up? What the fuck was going on? I'm sure, just like I don't ask that question, what happened? Life happens. We grow up. We get families and this and that. So what made you come back and say, you know what? Let's do another album in 2023.
Well, those songs have been sitting in the can for about 9 years.
Nice.
We were, as you said, we were on track, 2010, 2012, 2014. We were doing it every 2 years.
Yep.
And on our last record, we had a bit of a personnel shakeup with our drummer at the time. Bass player's wife got a really good job offer that required them to move to Dallas, which is only 5 hours away, so I could commute back and forth, and we still did album projects and whatnot. But just, it's like you say, life got in the way.
It does.
Plus I was seeing a little disillusionment on my part. This is a very small scene, and critics, promoters, and such, they are kind of put in that position of gatekeeper. And sometimes, if you make a deal, get it in writing. Do not make the gentleman's agreement, because like with what happened to us, we got bit on the ass, and it really pissed me off. And I was just like, you know what, I need to step away from this for a while. And at that point, Ty and Lisa had moved to Dallas. I'm like, okay, this is a good time to just chill out and not think about that and do other things. We did the Romeo Riot record, we did a Tango Down record. I was doing a lot of voice work at the time. I picked up doing audiobooks for a bit.
Nice. You do have the voice for it. I mean,
well, 20 years of radio,
Right.
But I just ended up doing a lot of that, and then lost the radio gig. They had sold to another company, and the company came to me and said, look, we've already got a guy who's a production director. We don't need two. But here's 4 months severance. I'm like, thank you. I'm out.
See ya.
And I bought some new equipment for my studio, and that's when I started getting into doing audiobooks and doing quality checks for other people's audiobooks. So that was
nice.
That was a good way to pass the time. Eventually, Ty and Lisa came back, and we were still doing projects. And I'm like, I still got all these songs that I'm sitting on. We really might want to consider at some point. Let's get them back out there. Let's finish them off. And as time allowed, we would go through and listen back, and just one got re-recorded from scratch, another one just it's little tweaks and bits, and I don't like the way I sang that, I don't like the way I played that, and let's change this fill here, and then and it was just a lot of piecemealing and building it together, making sure all the ingredients were there.
And if you would have released it back then, 10, 15 years earlier, or 13 years earlier, it doesn't sound like that, or 9 years, whatever, however many years.
9 years, yeah.
You got the ferment, and then you brought it back out. You said, you know what, we could tweak this and make it better. Sometimes time does wonders for songs.
Well, we actually had a final mix, and then Ty called me and goes, so I found this new guitar plug-in, and I'm going to send you a mix and tell me what you think. I'm like, what do you think? He says, I like it better. So you're going to remix the whole damn thing, aren't you? Yes, I'm okay for it.
How about it?
Remix the whole friggin' thing, like at the 11:30th hour.
Wow.
But
that must have made Kibble so happy.
I think Kibble pretty much gave up trying to get a record. There are people that give the guy flack in certain corners of the internet, and he really is not deserving that. I mean, when you've been working together as long as we have, yes, we have our agreements from time to time. Sometimes we laugh and do a virtual slap on the back because we're on opposite ends of the country, and other times it gets a little more heated. But he's never done us wrong. I don't know.
No.
Anybody that pays attention to the business and doesn't have an overinflated sense of what should happen, you're not going to get fucked over.
No.
And if you think you have, no, you haven't. It just didn't. It did not meet your personal expectations for what should happen. Because again, this kind of music is not mainstream anymore. It's become very underground compared to where it was.
It's almost a hobby nowadays.
It really is.
It's
any money we ever made went into
the next record
recording. It went into fixing the bus, or
right.
I don't think any of us actually made more than maybe $200 all this time, because we keep putting money back in because we enjoy it.
Right.
That's half the fun, is getting out and the playing and doing the festivals and hanging out and watching the other headliners and talking a ton of smack about them while they're playing. That's the fun stuff.
Exactly. I mean, you're basically just being in the scene still.
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
being a part of it. I'm in
it's part of it,
radio,
but
and
it's a
it's
vacation.
right.
You know.
People ask me, "Hey, you do the radio station, you do this, you do that, you're promoting, you book bands, you making money at it?" My girl this year, she's like, "You got any revenue?" I'm like, "Nope, lost all kinds of money." And she's like,
Mhm.
"That's not what you're supposed to be doing." I was like, "I don't know what to tell you, but I
Sometimes you
like it."
have a hobby that just breaks the bank, that you see something happening and your wallet's like, "No, don't do it.
You
Put
throw your
that
wallet at it
down,"
anyway.
but you do it anyway because
You
you love
do it anyway because you love it. I love doing this. I love getting new music out there. I love hearing bands, talking to guys, being a part of it. You just and you know what? I'm never going to make money at it. It doesn't matter if I lose my ass. I go to work. I have a job, so
it. Mhm.
I can spend my money on worse things. I
Yeah.
could go buy 7 bottles of Jack Daniels every night and waste my money that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd rather just fuck it.
It's
You
much
know,
healthier.
This is much healthier. It feeds the soul so much better.
Yeah.
It's just, and you get to meet interesting people. You get to talk. You get to hear new music. And, what's better? Every single day, new music comes out, and
Mhm.
nobody's making any money yet. But it seems like there is just a little bit of a resurgence coming. There's newer bands, and, you
Slowly but
guys are
surely,
back.
it's coming out, not for, people in my age bracket.
Right.
If you're not one of the beloved, if you're not the LA Guns, the Winger, or the Extreme and whatnot, it is a much harder slog
Oh,
where
yeah.
you get a bunch of guys that are young, skinny, and pretty doing the same kind of thing. Well, they might stand a chance. They might actually pull it off. You never know. And
Right.
I hope it happens. I don't know if it'll happen before I'm too old to appreciate it, but I hope it
Right.
happens.
All good. Everything always comes back around.
Hmm.
The 50s basically came back around in the 80s.
Yeah.
Really, it did the same kind of music,
It's
just
a
a
20,
different look.
30-year cycle. But I
It
think it
is.
stretches a little further the more time goes on.
It does.
So,
But it's nice to see you guys are back with if you had, oh God, if you had one song to say, this is what En Fuego, boom. I know En Fuego's kind of a story, and you guys do these things. It's not just let's throw songs together and put it out there.
mhm.
If you had one song that you wanted everybody to hear off this album, what one song would that be?
Where's that Chips Ahoy cookie?
I love doing that. It's
Uh,
not that bad of a question. I know they're
it's
all like
not.
your
Hey,
kids.
it's a lot
You
easier
know,
to answer because there's only 14 options
I
uh,
know.
compared to what's your Mount Rushmore.
6,000 fucking
Um,
artists.
yeah. Real. I would have to say is a song called "All You Need Is a Heartbeat."
I love that too, dude.
That
But
that
it
I
sounds
think
so.
is
It's
definitely one of my top 4 off
yeah.
that record.
It's a
It's a
familiar
good,
sounding
loud,
song,
melodic
kind of.
chorus. It's crunchy.
Yes.
I'll tell you a little story about it. You heard of a band called Station?
Yes.
Well, Station, back 9 years ago, had a song called "All You Need Is a Heartbeat."
Yes.
And it was very nice, very good song, good video, and the
Yep.
hero of that song's talking about the object of his affections, and how wonderful she is, and how pretty she is, and how she sets his soul afire, or whatever the
Yes.
lyrics were.
Yes.
And I listened to them, yeah, that's a good song because they were the new one of the new bands. I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds good, but
Yep. Good
I'm a
friends of mine.
cynical little shit, and yeah, I'm not having that. So
Right.
I said, okay, all you need is a heartbeat. What can I do with that? And it was not meant as it's never a slight against them. They inspired me
Right.
to write a song about a
Inspiration
new
comes
divorced
from
woman
all
who's
different
going out
angles.
trolling for dick. That's what the song's
Nice.
about. It's a female sexual empowerment song.
I love the song, dude, and I get that from
Mhm.
that song.
It's very, it's my version of writing a parody,
Right.
but not going the Weird Al Yankovic route.
Right. And I get that, dude. That's a cool song. I was hoping you were going to pick that one because I wanted to bring that up.
Hmm.
But if we didn't pick that one, we were bringing that up anyway.
That's okay.
But it is a great song. You see that title on the album, and you're like, they doing a love song, and
Yeah,
then you listen to it, and you're like,
I
oh
like
hell yeah,
I like the bait and switch. It's fun.
yes,
I've always enjoyed when you think, oh yeah, this is going to be, what was it? People took their kids to Deadpool. Well, it's a superhero movie. Guess what?
right. Guess what?
Ah!
Everybody asked me, "Did you see Deadpool?" I'm like, I'm not into that Marvel shit. I don't watch. I may watch The Dark Knight, and I'll watch Transformers. But that's about as far as it goes. They're like, "Dude, you got to see Deadpool." I'm like, I
Deadpool.
do not. It's not
Ah.
what you're. So I did finally watch it. I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is not
Hmm.
at all what I was thinking. This is, I had it so wrong, and this is fucking crazy."
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was great. But now shows. Any shows coming up?
None
Anything
on
on
the
the
book so
calendar?
far.
Not on the books so far.
Yeah.
Waiting. Gonna get them on.
We'll
Um,
we'll see. I mean, a lot of thing is it's a lineup issue right now.
right. Okay.
Um, we haven't had a drummer for the last 9 years. I played the drums on this one,
Oh, nice.
and which is a pain in the ass because I've been way out of practice. Um, but trying to find local people, and I don't want this to sound like I'm being a major asshole. It's just that we have certain requirements. You got to be able to play the kick parts in these songs. And a lot of the guys around here, they show up, they play the blues jams on the weekends, they get their 150 and hit the door. And,
Yep.
and that's great. There are some that could totally do it, but they've already got their own money gigs. So it's like, how do we find a way to balance that, and I've got a guy kind of interested, and I love it. He's one of my favorite players here around town. We're actually playing tomorrow night, doing a covers deal.
Okay.
And side note, have you heard of AZRO?
No.
It's if you're in the Melodic Mafia page, you'll see them talk about it every so often.
I'm in that
Singer
page.
in that group is the singer for their money gig.
Ah.
So that's the
Okay.
connection there. So. But I don't, it's finding the right people, because it's not
Right.
enough to, okay, here's a guy who can really play. Can we be in a room with him for more than 5 minutes without wanting to kill him?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
The
know how drummers are.
interpersonal thing is such an important thing. And sometimes you can have there's another guy here in town, great player, fantastic player. I can't go 5 minutes. I have to walk away. It's a personality between him and me. It's not that he's a jackass or anything. It's just,
Right.
I'm very guarded, very limited with who I deal with. And
Right.
once
You
I get
have to
used to
be.
realize, okay, I can only handle this for so long. I walk in, say hi, be cool, dude. But then I need to excise myself from the situation. So.
Right. Hey, we're all like that. I mean, I don't put up with too much. It's just, you get a feel and you're like,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna be able to hang out with this guy every fucking day. No
Right.
way.
Right.
Or you get a feel, oh my God, it's like we've been brothers forever. And we
Yeah.
just met, and sometimes you gotta trust your gut, you gotta trust your feeling.
Yeah. It is the way of things. This is we're not in a major hub. I think we're, in radio terms, this is like market 74, I
74.
think.
Nice.
New York's number one, LA's number two.
Right.
We're way the hell down the list.
Arkansas. Hey, but you can go out eventually. You'll get a job.
We'll get there. One way or another.
We'll get there.
Or
Now,
maybe let's put the drums on tracks and stick a Teddy Ruxpin pin on a little Barbie drum set in the back. I know right now it's the big thing. Are bands using backing tracks?
Oh my God! But they're using Teddy Ruxpin. You can put a tape right inside of them.
None more 80s than the Teddy Ruxpin.
Nope.
Hello, welcome to the Bombay Black Show. I'm Teddy. I'm gonna beat the fuck out of these drums. Hi, kids.
And then he'll move his fucking arms, and
Yeah.
his mouth will go to. You just put El Fuego in as a tape, and his mouth will voice it. Dude, it's brilliant marketing.
Actually, we just get a series of bears. It'll be like the traveling Chuck E. Cheese experience.
Clever marketing.
Marketing.
Yes, there it is again. So, got any new singles released? I do know there's. I've heard rumblings that there may be a new one dropping soon.
A week from tomorrow, which would be the 23rd,
23rd.
I believe, Friday the 23rd. Yeah. We'll have another lyric video going
Nice.
up for All You Need Is a Heartbeat.
Oh, really?
And
That's
then
going to be.
I got one more in the pipe, but I think we're going to be sitting on that for a little while longer as well.
Right. And you know, I've been talking to other artists. I was talking to one of my buddies. He's in a couple bands, and he's got a new band coming out. And he's like, "What do you think? About singles? And should I release it?" I said, "Man, people are doing very well releasing a single, then the
Mhm.
album. Or don't just hit all the singles within 2-3 weeks. Then you've got nothing
Mhm.
for a year."
Well, in the modern uh, situation that we have now, it's like it's about putting out content. It's constantly releasing content over time.
Right.
Um, and I
Right.
guess that works if you are appealing to that demographic that lives or dies by their cell phones and YouTube and Vimeo and TikTok and whatnot. I actually played for almost a year and a half with a country group, little
Nice.
vocal trio. Some friends of mine, but I love the guys, and they need a bass player. I'm like, sure, I'll come and do it. And then I did it
Oh,
just
yeah.
long enough to go. I'm not a country guy, dude.
No.
I'm not.
No.
Um, but they have been pushing and pushing. I mean, they were told, a fella in Nashville told them, until you are able to go live on TikTok, no one will look at you.
I
No
hear that.
labels will look at you. You have to lay all, and that's the way it is now. You have to lay all the groundwork, all the promotion. You have to get you've got to build your audience, and then the label come in. Hey, we'll put that record out for you, but we're going to take 80% of the profits.
Right.
And also you're going to end up with like 0.05% per sale, but you're on a label.
You're on a label.
It's
Right. No, ain't worth it.
I mean,
Eh,
hey, congrats to Taylor Swift for what she's pulled off, but that's a rarity. That is,
yeah,
and especially in this scene, it's impossible. If you can find
possible.
yourself a good label that won't screw you over and is a straight shooter, that's a blessing.
Right. And some are coming out, like Kivel. He's great. I
Mm,
mean, he's, Eonian. They're very good. I've not seen anything bad with them. A buddy of mine's starting his own, and he's a very, very um, honest, loyal guy. His name's
mhm,
Will Mass. He's starting his own label. I can't remember his um, Beautifully Broken Records. I
mhm.
mean, so some people are noticing different things that are wrong with the industry or wrong with the scene, and they're trying to change it.
Yeah,
Kivel, he's always a great guy. I,
yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
people want to attack people like that, and it's not going to stick. No way.
Proof's in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding over time,
Exactly.
and
Right.
everything comes out in the wash over time.
Right. Exactly.
So
And, he's got bands that have stayed with him, and these labels. If the bands are staying with you for a long, long time, you're
mhm,
doing something right, or they'd be leaving.
right.
And
I mean, we did split off for a couple of records. We want to try it ourselves because
right,
we've been we're doing our own stuff. We're working on other
on
album
every
projects with them. We thought, well, let's try this on our end,
right,
and we did okay, but we could have done better had we stuck around, which is why we came back.
right. And
And
people
it
do
works.
that. Some do the label, then they go try it on their own because you got the technology. You could do it
Mhm,
in a home studio, just with a laptop, really.
sure.
But and then they usually come back and say, we did that, but, you know,
It's one thing to record. Promotion is an entirely different animal, and you
entirely
really have to have somebody that knows, has the connections, knows, or is able to make inroads
Right.
I mean, John in particular, he got us into the Dakota Rock Fest, and we were nobody. And we played that first year, and the promoter's like, "Oh my God, can you guys come back next year?" And he's been able to make those shows happen, which is always, and we got to show up, bring our A game. When we walk in, talk to production guy, here's our input list, here's this and that. By the way, your monitor guy can sit back and have a drink. We've taken care of that.
Right.
And then we get done playing. They're like, Jesus, you guys aren't messing around. I'm like, hey, on in 10, off in 5, man.
On in 10. That's right. That's right. Hey, that's what it's about. It's called professionalism. Not trying to jerk around. And then the guys that don't, they get finished with their set and they're saying hi to everybody from the stage. And, the fans are at this. Get off the stage and go be with the people. You're done being a rock star. Get off the stage.
Right. Now, the bigger bands, the beloved, I understand that.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to do it. You toss out your sticks, you toss out your picks, maybe a set list or 4.
But they're headliners. Nobody's waiting to get on stage after them. Exactly. If somebody's waiting for you to get off so that they can get on, get out the way.
Because then you're intruding on their time to get set up. That's why we made our setup so efficient.
Right.
We played one year. We had 7 by 10 foot backdrops on each side of the stage. We built them from scratch. We got them custom printed. We had, the drum shells were all done up. We all had our rigs, and we brought a road crew with us. We also brought a Jaeger machine, because if you get there the night before the festival that you're supposed to play, you meet with the crew. Hey, you want a shot of Jaeger? And you start feeding them Jaeger. The next day, they're like, hey, what can we do for you? How can we help? Because they want you to have a good show.
Right.
And they're just wonderful human beings. So we get all set up, do our thing, and the stage looks like we should be headlining it, and we clear it off, and it's like it was never there.
Never there.
And then the next band gets up, and in our case, it's usually more of the classic acts, and they're like, hey, they just rolled out of bed. Comparatively. But they can do that. They can do that. You're not in that level. Get on, do it, and get off.
There's sweatpants and t-shirts and this and that. It's like you don't even have to. I was just wondering. I'm not going to say the artist that I was looking at. That I'm like, are you kidding me? And you know what? He's not A tier, but he's B plus B tier. And everybody knows him, and we've just come to accept that he's going to play, sing, and do his thing in sweatpants and whatever. And but I'm sitting there going, dude, you just can't put a pair of jeans on. What?
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to. We've accepted it.
Well, and that's the thing. People have accepted that. Good on him if he's able to do that. I still believe you gotta no shorts on stage unless you're the drummer.
Right.
Or it's like 108 degrees outside and you're playing a little shed. Absolutely. You got to take care of yourself. I know what it's like to not hydrate enough and then get an IV on the bus because you're out of it.
Right.
It's not a good scene, but the pictures look very rock and roll. Look, he's on drugs. It's a salt IV, asshole.
It's a fucking, it's aqua fusion. It's just,
it's straight
vitamins.
Noon tabs. What are you talking about?
B12 and moonshine.
That'll be the name of the next record.
B12. Hey, cool. All right. I don't need any credit for that. Okay, we're gonna. If you got anything else you want to bring up,
well,
anything coming down the pike?
We got this record out. We're actually. Justin and Ty and myself were working on another project. Ty's on bass, Justin's on guitar, I'm playing drums, and we actually have a different singer. And it's called The Resistance. We're trying to wrap that up in the next 3 weeks and hopefully get some tunes out fairly quickly.
The Resistance.
So we can get that in time because we've already scheduled our CD release show, and we haven't done CDs yet, but we'll get there.
We don't.
Actually, you can go on YouTube and look up The Resistance LR.
LR.
That's what it's called.
Okay.
Our first song off of that was called Last Kiss.
Okay.
And we also have 10 for the Money and Push You Away, which is the ballad, the big gospel choir
Oh,
ballad.
that's a Push You Away. That's a ballad, huh?
That is a ballad.
10 for
Again,
the
with the song titles that don't mean what the song is.
right. Okay, dude, I'm writing down. You got me writing down all kinds of shit today. All right, cool. We will check that out. And is there a Facebook page for that?
There is, I believe it's the Resistance LR.
Okay. Like I'll put that up because tomorrow I'll put up links to Bombay Black, the Resistance. I'll put
Mhm.
up the YouTube
Cool.
pages, just whatever I can to, you got to make it easy on everybody. I love when people make it easy on me, where
Hmm.
all I got to do is click a link,
Right.
but being in radio and this and that, I do a lot of digging. So I'm
Yeah.
used to it. A lot of people don't have the time to do that. I have time. So I'll put all the links up. So
Hmm.
all they got to do is click for this, go check it out.
Right.
Make it
Right.
easy. It's what it's about, making it easy on everybody.
Yep.
Cool. So you're a busy guy. That's fantastic.
Pretty busy.
There we go. Hey, it might not pay the bills, but it feeds the soul, right?
Well, sometimes it buys monsters, so
There you
it's
go.
pretty close.
There you go.
It buys me. I can go and get salsa fixins because I make my own. And that's hey, I just got paid for this album. I'm going buying tomatoes.
Tomatoes. you got your Spotify check. Oh my god, I could go get a fucking
Don't get
bazooka
me
bubble
started
gum.
on that.
I know, right? Oh
God.
Jesus. I mean, you'd think that they could give you just a lot more because they charge me to fucking use it. I
Daniel
mean,
Ek is the CEO of Spotify, and his response to the artist saying, we're getting screwed over. He's like, no, you just got to make more. You
what?
got to keep putting up content on a regular basis and drive listeners to where you're at. And I can kind of see where he's going. And I do know people that are doing that. And for what
Right.
they're doing, they're making money. It's not necessarily what we're doing from a stylistic point of view,
Right.
which I think has a lot to do with it.
Right.
But we had our stuff off of all the digital formats for a long time, and we finally said, you know what, fuck it, it's sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
Let's go ahead and put it out there, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's let it sit on Spotify, do nothing. At
Yeah,
least
I mean,
people are able to listen to it.
we'll throw it out there on all. If you want to use a clip of it on a TikTok, knock yourself out. I mean, we'll get a smidge of a penny, but hey, it adds up over time.
Right.
So
Right.
it is
Exactly.
the new paradigm, and we have to embrace it.
And they warned us about this way back when, and here it
We
is.
all laughed at Metallica and said, "God, you
Yep.
guys are greedy." Oh shit, they were
Yeah.
right.
I never bashed Lars for it. I was like, I saw what was coming. I could see
Mhm.
it. I'm like, people are gonna want everything for free.
Right,
And then you had LimeWire and you had this, and I could go in there and just click songs and listen all day
right,
long. And I was like, this is great. I'm like, but nobody's getting paid for this. They can't be getting paid for this
yeah,
because I'm not paying any money.
yeah. I used to do a hard rock specialty show on the station I was at, and when Nutella and Napster and all that came up, I knew I could go search. Now, if it was something I could actually buy
Right.
without, I'm not going to buy a $250 import. Fuck that. But
No.
if I could get more of the rarities, more live stuff, bootlegs and whatnot, and do that, play on there. Hey, here's so and so. They played this. By the way, you can be sure to check out their website and you cross promote at the same time. That was the way I rationalized it to myself.
Right.
And for everything else, either I could get it from a label as part of their catalog stuff, or I could find somebody that was selling it on eBay. Usually, I did
Right.
a lot of back and forth with eBay back in the day,
Oh yeah.
and that was just a way to get the cooler stuff. I was going through my drives recently. I found a Van Halen secret show at the Whiskey
Holy shit.
from
Oh,
like the early '90s, and I'm like, I have no idea where I got this. I guess it was during the big Napster run.
right.
I got all kinds of crap like that. That I'm like, where
Oh
did
yeah.
this come from? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I had a computer full of shit that to computer shit to bed, and I had there was thousands
yeah.
of songs on it, and it was like I gotta go re-get these songs somehow, and I don't even know what they were. I'm like, I used to
Pizza
have a
saved,
CD and
so should
record
we.
collection.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I started building, and in my room I got tapes that I've gotten back, and CDs, albums I gotten back, and it's like I'm going out and buying these things because the only way I'm going to lose them is if I give them away or sell them.
Right.
My computer crashed, and that is not how I want it to happen.
Right.
I like the physical. I like the physical. I like
Right.
this tape.
Right.
That's great. And anyway, you go to KibblRecords.com, Bombay Black, and Fuego. Sticker. Dude, this is a holographic sticker.
I
Look.
like those.
All right, it's fucking
That
cool
was
or
John's.
what?
John's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'm like, I think that's bitching.
It's really cool. Then it gives you this.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes in a bag, a mailer bag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who does this shit? See, there's the address and everything.
John is very good when it comes to packaging.
Is a marketing genius. I mean, that's he's done so much stuff with some of his other bands. It's like, wow, I got that one day. I'm like, holy crap, this is really cool. How that's called you care. It's not just you're not just the customer. He cares about the bands. He doesn't have to do all that.
No, he doesn't. But he does.
But he does. I mean, that's when you care. And when somebody does that, like a Kibble Records does that, I am more inclined to buy from them again, just because I know he cares. He does. Yeah. He's doing the band right. He's marketing them. He's not just saying, "Okay, boom, I'm making money off him." No, he cares about his artists. He cares,
Right.
This is all just in case John's watching.
Yeah, he's been messaging me several times, of course, this thing. I have purposely not been looking at it because. But I do want to address one thing about these CDs. When you get the new En Fuego album, you are getting what I hope will be a limited edition release.
Oh, really?
Because if you open it up and you look at the card, it'll say due to, I can't remember.
Yes.
You got it there.
Dude, you're going to make me read and I have to put my old dude glasses on. Huh?
That's what you get for Mount Rushmore.
See, CD isn't in there. It's in the freaking CD player. Due to supply chain issues and an increase in the cost of raw materials, this panel is intentionally left blank. There's no need to remove the plastic tray, but you've already removed it, haven't you? Oh, dear.
The plastic tray was supposed to be black.
Oh, what?
And they put clear trays in there. Completely fucked up the joke.
So there was nothing. So you had to put this all in there.
All you would see is just the black tray, and you would see that the red underneath there, and you'd be like, "Hey, what's that?" And you open it up, you read that, and then you curse us for a bit, and then I always like to do stuff like that, but they botched it this time.
Hey,
so hopefully the next round we'll have black trays, and it will make more sense.
Right, and it's not a digipack like them.
No,
these guys. Full booklet, man, lyrics.
That is the first time I've ever set up a booklet.
That is, it is perfection.
Thank you.
I love it. I love sitting there back, listening to it. I first listened to a CD like I did with this one, and it goes on the headphones. Boom. Headphones, immerse myself, maybe read that at the same time, and really get a feel for it. And this album just... It's punchy. The harmonies are there. Like, we're going to end the show with another one that the label sent me. It's called Devils in the Details. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a jammer.
I'm curious to see if people work the subject matter out on that. It's at the time it was written, it was very timely.
Right.
Now it's over and done. It doesn't matter, but we were just like, you know what, throw it out there anyway. It adds another track to the album.
Right, and it's fantastic. Like I said, all the tracks are really good on here. I mean, there's 14 of them.
14.
And there's no slouch, no nothing. If you're on the fence about picking it up, just go get it, add it to your collection. We want walls of CDs in our rock rooms, in our living rooms, in our bedrooms. So just add another brick to the wall there, man.
Absolutely.
Another CD. You know, you're not going to be disappointed with this. First single was Just Another Band from LA. You've heard that first. Next week, we got
All you
single
need
and
is a
video.
heartbeat.
All you need is a
Yep.
heartbeat coming out. And right now, when we end this, we're going to hear Devils in the Details. So you already heard 3 songs within the next week. Dude, they're all killer, no filler.
Hope so.
They are. Anything else you want to talk? Did I say anything? I think we're good. Dude, no sex for breakfast. Or no sex by breakfast or whatever.
No sex before breakfast.
That is a great song too. I mean,
Well,
come on.
Okay, so
Jesus.
there's two there's
I forgot to
three
bring that up.
technically there's 3 covers. Probably the more well known of the bunch would be "I Love It When You Call Me Names." It was a Joan
Right, that
Armatrading
is a
song
great.
back in the
Yeah.
day, and I just for one day it popped in my head. I'm like, God, because I thought it was Joan Armstrading, but no, it was Armatrading, and I finally looked it up, and I'm like, wow, that's totally not how I remember the song. But God, I love this song. This is really
Right.
kind of cool, and I just demoed it up for kicks, just for myself. And I sent it off to Ty and Justin, like, what do you guys think? They're like, I think we need to do this. I'm okay.
Right.
All right.
That's another good one out there.
And then there's 2 others, Annie Loves Jane and No Sex Before Breakfast.
Sex before
These are songs from our Too Much TV days. That was the name of the group back around the early 90s. It was Ty, Bart, Sharp, Devil Jim, our original guitarist, and Jim Skelton. They formed a group to go play Battle of the Bands because they were bored. Nothing else to do. They said, we'll just go and we'll just do stupid stuff. But they were doing like Stray Cat Strut, Like a Virgin, Sweet Transvestite from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Holy shit.
I mean, just and the singer would get up. The first show I ever played with them, he came out wearing bunny ears, and the little thing was tossing out slices of American cheese out of a basket.
What?
At one show during a guitar solo, he started making sandwiches for people. It was just
Wow.
wild and crazy stuff. But they
Boy.
started recording their own stuff, and Annie Loves Jane and No Sex Before Breakfast are from that era.
Nice.
Now, Ty Sims was the bass player back then. He left, another guy came in, and then I came in after that guy.
Nice.
So Jim and Ty and myself have all played in like 3 bands at different times.
At different times.
No, it's just, it's the way of the local scene. It's very I hate to say inbred, but very incestuous.
It's Arkansas.
Everybody plays with everybody else. It's just
right.
Nobody's
You
unscathed.
get that. You get that, especially when you're. There's different levels to musicianship too. So when you find somebody that you can work with, that you play well together with.
Right.
I mean, you kind of tend to, hey, okay, this guy left. Let's bring him in. I know him, and it's just the way it is. And
it's the way of things. But yeah, those 2 songs in particular always stood out. Now, Too Much TV did record a record, but it was a much angrier kind of music at that point.
Like angry.
So when these came around, I thought, I've always wanted to record these. And I had demoed it like 3 or 4 times over the last 20 years. And this last one, especially with No Sex Before Breakfast, I went, you know what? Let's add this. Let's add this.
Right.
It wasn't just guitar, bass, and drums. Like, let's throw this in here. And I just started throwing crap at it. And I sent it to Ty and I said, I know you're going to cut things out. I just wanted to give you options.
Right.
And he said, okay. A few weeks later, he's like, okay, I got the mix done. Like, what all did you cut out? He said, dude, I didn't cut anything.
Nice.
Everything. I'm like, oh shit, no, really? Okay.
It works. I love it. That's
it's a fun song. It's our porn funk. I mean, we've got it. It's part of the opening track. That's the music bed in the background. Granted, with fools, but that's another story entirely.
Dude, you've said all 3 songs that were like standouts to me. Call Me Names, All You Need Is a Heartbeat, No Sex Before Breakfast. You mentioned them all. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool. They're my standouts. Cool. But this was a good time.
Yeah, all right.
You have to come back. You have to come back sometime. we'll talk about other stuff and whatever comes up. Anytime
Sure.
you want to come back, you have an open invitation.
Awesome. I'll do it.
Cool. All right. Thank you
All
very
right.
much. We're gonna get to Devils in the Details right after we'll end the show with that.
Cool.
So you have a good night. Thank
You
you again
too.
for being here.
Absolutely. Y'all take care.
Great guy, Eric. I mean, great guy. Like I said, go get the record. If you're on the fence, go get it. Really good record. I don't tell people to get something if it's not that great. I keep it to myself and I don't mention it. But Bombay Black really hitting it. They're the band of the month in the B Rock group. So guess what? They got to be doing something right. Because I don't, it's they're very good. Take my word for it. I don't steer you wrong. Hey, they're on Rock Altar. They're some from their previous records. I got like 4 or 5 songs on the Rock Altar, um, just in rotation. So as you're listening, another Bombay Black will come up. Another, here we go, here we go. Try to schedule them so they come up a little bit faster here and there. But if you're not on the Rock, not listening to the Rock Altar yet, get on it. Live 365 app. Search, just download it from your Apple Music Store, your Apple Store, whatever, Google Store, whatever it is. Download the Live 365 app. Search The Rock Altar, click on it, and you're rocking. That simple. Bam. And then every time you log on to the Live 365 app that is already on your phone, Rock Altar pops up, click play. Boom. Simple, easy. And let me tell you, some good music. I know the guy that runs it. Fantastic. Just telling you. All right. Let's get to the last song. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thanks to Eric for being here. Tomorrow, I will put up the links to get Bombay Black merch, Kibble Records, get the CD, Facebook pages, this, that, the other thing, the Resistance that we talked about. Put their links up for you. So it makes it real easy for you to get there and get it. But right now, we're going to end the show with Devils in the Details. What really good song. Let's do this a couple times. Really good song. You're gonna dig it. So, y'all have a good night. Like I said, thank you for being here, and we will see you next week. We have Parker and Leo from Wings of Steel. That should be a very interesting interview as well. If you've noticed, I've got a lot of interesting people coming up, so we're good. But next week, next Thursday, 7:30, Parker and Leo from Wings of Steel. See you then. Enjoy Devils in the Details. This is Bombay Black.
It's all about the spin. You had the power for the deal, and so you made it. Gotta let them out, gotta get them free. But you really thought that nothing wouldn't matter to me. 3 ships heading home, you put the wind in the sail. Oh gosh, you're silver 9, but the devil's in the details. Down the drain, it should have never been hard to walk straight with all the dirt under the road. But you just read your lines and you just play your part. Guilty by association, party to the degradation. Where's the architects? Don't you think they ought to get some face time too? Gotta let them out, gotta get them free. But you really thought the they did it, that's when you put on the show. Your strategy is abdication.